problem is not the physical reality. The problem is our self-concept. We hold thousands and thousands and thousands of ideas about ourselves and our life and our subconscious mind and us. The biggest problem, what most of us stumble on, is the how, right? How I'm gonna do this, how I don't understand. I'm trying to figure out the how, but the point where I'm stuck is how. And I know that we have heard this, that, oh, you don't have to worry about the how. But then the problem is that nobody really tell us more than that you don't have to worry about the how will come. But what is it? What is the real deal? And that is what I want to explain to you, because it's really important to understand that what is the secret behind how? What is the thing that really reveals the whole bridge of incidents in Neville's terms, like the things that need to happen for you to manifest. And at the same time, it is really, really important to hold the state. Now, when things don't go right, when things don't go according to the plan, a lot of times we can't hold the state and we feel like, oh my God, our 3D or physical reality is really hard. I'll also share with you the secrets which I use to hold my state all the time. The code which has really helped me to maintain the state no matter what. Because I know a lot of times when we are told, oh, just feel the feeling, and when the physical reality is quite different than what we desire, it becomes a big bottleneck, right? How do we feel the feeling? What is the secret? How does it all work? I'm gonna share that with you. The first thing is how. You don't have to worry about the how. Now, we need to understand how our mind works. And most of us haven't been told how our mind works. And that's why the stress, anxiety, panic, these things happen, because we are not told how to use our mind in the best possible way. And that is why, according to research, we only use 10% of the mind. How does it work? Our mind works in a way that we have a conscious mind, which is awareness, which we know, which is a thinking mind. When you read a book, it goes in the conscious mind. When you understand a concept, it's all in the conscious mind. And then there is a subconscious mind, which is connected to the universal intelligence. And subconscious mind is the habitual mind, it's the emotional mind, and it has access to all the universal intelligence. Conscious mind's job is only to decide what you want, and the subconscious's job is to show the way. Subconscious is almost like a GPS, right? When you sit in your car, you put the address, right? And you make sure the address is correct. So conscious mind's job is that you are clear, you have the clarity. Conscious mind's job is to make sure that you're not putting the wrong address over and over again. Not like you put that address and you think, you know what, I can't have it. And you then remove the address and put the address, I can't have it. And then you put the address, I'm not sure. Then you put the address of doubts. This is our job, to make sure that the address is always the same, so that subconscious can pave the way. Subconscious can tell us the way, right? And then the job of subconscious is to open the map. Now, there are a few things to understand how subconscious works. So it's really, really important, because if we can't work in alignment, a lot of times we get it wrong. So subconscious will only tell you one step at a time. So it will only give you the next step. It will not show you the whole way and say, this is till the end, do this, and this is a really good way. It doesn't give you all of that. It only tells you the next step, because it works in a very live way, right? So it's a live system, right? And the other thing, what we need to understand is that the subconscious is working under the cover. So even when you're sleeping, when you're talking to your friends, when you're consciously not aware, it's still working. The other thing is that we need to take action. So we cannot say, I'm going to wait for the whistles to blow. I'm going to wait for my subconscious to tell me everything before I take the action. We have to start where we are, and then subconscious gives you the next step over next step. And that means that you wouldn't know what the next step is going to be until you get there. This happened to me when I was in the process of quantum leaping for one of my goals, and I was thinking about something which was 2-3 steps ahead, and it was scaring me. I was thinking, oh my God, how I'm going to do it? I have no idea. It's so scary. And then I realized that you have to just think of the step you're doing, and the other things will reveal itself. You have to think in the present, where you're doing now. And when you get to that step, this 2 step ahead, it will all open up at that time. I love the way Steve Jobs explains this. He said you can't connect the dots going forward, so you cannot know how it's going to happen, but you can only connect looking backwards. You have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in the future. So they will. The subconscious has to tell you. The other thing, which is really, really important, is to understand that if you're not in momentum and you're waiting, subconscious will not tell you the way. It wants you to take the step to give you the next step, to reveal the next step. Other thing with subconscious is sometimes it makes mistakes. Sometimes, the greatest example to understand how subconscious works is that when the rocket is aiming to the moon, it never goes in the straight line, it goes in zigzag. And then what happens is the system in the rocket tells the rocket that it's going in too much right or too much left, and it's constantly correcting the way. This is our subconscious work, that sometimes we can make mistakes, but it's constantly recorrecting itself. You have to trust that you're going there. And the most important thing, which is so important, is we don't want to jam the system. How do we jam the system? We jam the system and we make a decision, oh, I want to do this. And when we make the first mistake, or when we don't know the next step, or when we don't know the steps after, we say, I don't think I can do it. All of a sudden we jam the system, because going from I would love to have this, we may get to the place where I don't know how to do it. So we cannot jam the system, right? This is the other thing. And one of the most important things to understand with the subconscious is that everything in our life, what we do, is our subconscious mind telling us. Let's take an example. If I've got this phone right now and I drop the phone, I'm not going to drop the phone, but if I drop the phone and I say what angles or muscles or things I'm going to use to pick the phone up, right? My conscious mind cannot tell. But the way it works is the conscious mind will tell subconscious, go and pick the phone, and it will pick it up and it will do all the computations, everything, how my muscles have to bend, what is the angle of the phone, everything. And I wouldn't even consciously be aware. The subconscious really takes care of everything. Now, the biggest dilemma is that the things we have done over and over again, we can do them faster because the success mechanism is stored. We have done it before. The things we have never done before, we think we can't do it because consciously we don't know, we don't believe we can do it. But the key is that subconscious mind has got access to universal intelligence, and it can attract whatever it to you to give you the answers, to attract the right people, to make things happen. And the most important thing is we have to consciously implant that goal. Now the problem is that when we say I don't know how, it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you haven't done it yet. That means the success mechanism is not there. When you didn't know how to drive the car, you didn't know how, but you still did it, right? When you don't know how, what you want to do is you want to implant the goal. How do we implant the image in the subconscious, in the womb of creation? We constantly feel the feeling. When we constantly feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled, we implant the goal in our subconscious mind. The way is to feel the feeling. When you say to yourself, or when you find yourself saying, I don't know how, we have this habit, we want to know the how, but we want to instead go to the feeling part. What would it feel like when I have it? How would my life look like when I have it? And then the other most important thing is for you to understand that you don't need to know the how, because the how will reveal in step-by-step process. Now, what happens in the journey? We think that the quantum leap is going to be really good, it's going to all work, everything is going to be perfect. But the way bridge of incidents work is that sometimes you will have a huge setback, or you will have things not working the way you thought, or things didn't turn out the way you wanted. Now, again, it's a belief that creates the reality, because whatever we are believing, we are ticking the boxes in the GPS. Like we are saying, this is what I am agreeing, this is what I'm agreeing, and our mind is very loyal to our beliefs. If subconsciously we believe that this thing has happened and I can't get there, we just change the goal for the subconscious. We are not doing it anymore. The key is that you need to know that no matter what is happening, it is taking me there. It is the bridge of incidents. The bridge of incidents could be the most weird thing, which is in no way you can connect the dots, is taking you there. Doesn't matter. It is taking you there because you have just added the code. If you want to go to a river, right, and you're going and going and going, and in the car you don't see any sign of river, but you understand, you trust the GPS, right, that is taking you there. Similarly, with the subconscious mind, you trust that you're going there. And the more you feel, the more you live there, the more you know and easier it's going to be to get there faster. The more you focus on the feeling, the more you don't jam the system. Now, then the questions come, Anam, I get it that I have to focus on the feeling, I have to exclusively feel the feeling, but I can't. It's really hard. I struggle with negative thoughts. I struggle with staying there. I struggle with maintaining my state. I struggle with feeling the feeling of wish fulfilled. What should I do? I can't help it. And I used to be at that place where I used to say that if you ask me one more time that you have to feel the feeling and live in the end, or all those phrases that we use, I would throw up. Like, I was that traumatized because I was struggling daily basis to stay there. Then I figured out that it's not that the physical reality that is holding me back, because if I really know that I'm going there, and it's like when you're on your way to the river, you would know you're going there. You wouldn't get worried about the way because you know it's going there. The problem is not the physical reality. The problem is our self-concept. We hold thousands and thousands and thousands of ideas about ourselves and our life and our subconscious mind and us, right? And when we hold these ideas, hi Naomi, how are you? How are you doing? So when we hold these ideas about us, and when we try to get to that beautiful vision which is ours, which is already in a different dimension, but it's the reality, it's the truth, right? When we really try to get there, those ideas get in the way and they say, who do you think you are? Oh, you were treated this way, you didn't have that, you were not good enough, look at yourself. It is like a person inside you, right? It is like there's a person inside you which is talking to you and which is telling you all the reasons why you can't. And it's so logical and it's so justifiable. It's so jams us all the way, right? And that is our self-concept. That is thousands and thousands and thousands of ideas that we hold about ourselves, right? That is the system. That is the software. And like we cannot expect the phone, the phone to iPhone 4 or iPhone 5 to work like iPhone 13, we cannot expect our old self-concept or our past or the self-concept which doesn't serve us to really manifest that, because every time we go on that frequency, it brings us right back, it pulls us right back. And elevating our self-concept is like having a knowing and feeling and knowing, and you know that you are the one. When you know that this is who I am, when you detach yourself from the physical and you ascend and you rise up and you match your higher self and you just know who you are, and that's when no matter what's happening, you just know your truth and your reality, right? And it's a mental transformation, like Neville said. It's a mental elevation where you are telling your biggest critic, your software which you can never outperform, to become your biggest enabler, right? And it's a powerful shift. The key to understand is that it's not the physical reality, it's not the how, because how will happen, right? As you let it happen, like Candace said, you need to get out of your own way. But the key is that when this self-concept is there, it is impossible to outperform, because it is a mental program, it's a software, right? The key to understand is that we need to become one with the vision. We need to, and it's not about becoming somebody else. I know their phrase like acting as if or pretend, or it's about knowing and having that deep awareness and deep knowing, and that in like that feeling that I know who I am. Even when things fall apart, I know who I am. Even when things are not working the way I wanted, I know who I am, and that is my truth, and it's taking me there. Because life is full of ups and downs. Life is never like a straight line, right? It's an ups and downs. That's the law of rhythm. Everything is good and bad. We have good and bad parts all the time. No matter where we go, how far we go, how much money we have, what kind of relationship we have, we'll always have ups and downs. And the art of holding the duality and holding the feeling that I know who I am. No matter what it gets, I'm the one. No matter what it gets, I know me. No matter what it gets, I know my being. I am it, right? If we are in that place where I'm trying to live in the end, I'm trying to be it, I'm working on it, then you're not it. The key is you are it. When you have that shift, when you have that feeling, that's when you realize that all the things that are happening in the physical reality are actually taking you there. And the things we feel like, oh, it is, I don't know if it's happening, it's actually happening, right? But sometimes we attach beliefs to them and we stop the work and we jeopardize the whole process by letting our self-concept get in the way. Like Candace said in a beautiful way, that we get in our own way, right? We don't let it happen. We or our inner beliefs, our concepts, our ideas, and all those things impact our vibration. And vibration is like up and down. Sometimes we start to procrastinate. Sometimes we are not feeling it. Sometimes it's like up and down roller coaster. And it's so frustrating because you can see it, you can feel it in your body, you know it. But how am I supposed to get there? Right? And the how is you. How is your self-concept? How is how you see yourself, right? Because once that is aligned, it becomes your biggest enabler, right? Just a message that it's not the how is only you. How you see yourself. Who are you? Because when you have this inner knowing, your GPS is working fine, your subconscious mind is taking you there, you're at the right attraction, and everything is unfolding. Because it has to unfold. There is no other way. Any idea, like Andrew Carnegie said, who was the first ever billionaire in the world, he said, any idea that is held in the mind, either feared or revered, it begins to clothe itself in the most convenient way possible. And I know a lot of people who have achieved, which we would say, significant things. When you hear their story, oh my God, wow, this is so good. And you see that how they turn things around, how things turned around for them, how they come from nothing to something. And you know what? 67% billionaires are self-made. And even if we don't talk about money, if we talk about relationships, if we talk about love, no matter where you are right now, you can be a match to whatever you desire, because you are really a match. And the problem is we don't see it that way. So we don't want to fight the physical reality. We don't want to create from the matter. We want to create from quantum. That means we become a vibrational match. That means we play the game of human construct. Like, you have to do this, you have to pay for this, this is not free, this is this. We have to play this in God's way, in universe's way, by being a vibrational match. Because when this world was created, it was never the case that you had to pay for anything. Everything was free. We could have anything we wanted. And then humans started the concept of money, right? We can become a vibrational match to whatever we desire, even if it's a relationship, even if it's love, even if it's health, even if it's abundance, even if it's our purpose. Whatever desires we have in our hearts, they are ours and they're inevitable. The only way it's not going to happen is when we get in our way. We are so powerful that the only person in this whole universe who can get in our way is us. There's nobody else. So there is nobody else ever who has a power to stop us from manifesting except us. We are that powerful. And there is nobody in this world except us who can enable it to happen. The key is to play this game in the universe's way by becoming a vibration match, to play in the quantum. Matter, the things from matter already created, they're so limited. We don't want to play with limitations. We want to go and play with the infinite. And that is by our self-concept. Because the universe is aligned to what we want. Everything is responding to our vibration. And there is no such thing as, oh, it's taking longer, it's happening that. The key is that everything is responding to our vibration, right? And our vibration is directly correlated to our self-concept. If you are like me, you feel like, oh my God, this game is too hard. The secret is self-concept. This is your self-concept. If you really see who you are, which is the effortless way, because you see who you are, everything falls into place. It's time to unlearn and learn who we really are. And it's not that you're becoming or you're trying. You are it. You have to just see it for yourself.